Shalom, family. My name is Brother Yesiah. What I would like to go over today is Leviticus 19, verse 27. Before I start to read the verse, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High. Hallelujah. Leviticus 19, verse 27. Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. I'll read it once more. Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard. Most people will read that verse and apply that to this: shaving your head bald, cutting off your mustache. With cutting off your hair off your head and cutting off your beard, it can grow back. So remember that. So let's look at round, H5362. Round, from the biblical Hebrew word nakoth. It says primitive root, to strike with more or less violence, beat, fell, corrode, by implication of attack, to knock together. An example: surround or circulate, compass, cut down, destroy, go round, enclose, round. Now let's look at mar. Mar comes from the biblical Hebrew word shakath. It says to decay, ruin, literally or figuratively, batter, cast off, corrupt, destroy, lose, mar, perish, spill, spoiler, utterly waste. So with the concordance for round and mar, we have the words circulate, compass, destroy, more or less violence, perish, and ruin. Why would he be telling us that? Why would the Most High be telling us not to ruin, destroy, mar, or round the corners of our head or the corners of our beard? Okay, let's add some context to this. When we go to the prior chapter, which is chapter 18, same book, the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, and we start at verse 1. It says, And the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord Yahweh, your God. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, ye shall not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall you walk in their ordinances. So he's telling us not to round and mar, not to destroy. He's telling us not to destroy the corners of our head. Why? Because in Egypt and Canaan, all of the Hamites, they were destroying their bodies. This is what they were doing, the Hamites. We were picking up their ways. The Most High told us not to do this stuff. See this? Going around the beard, going around everywhere where hair grows. He's going around it, going around the mouth, growing around the head. Same thing. This is a custom that Hamites do. We were told not to do like them. It wasn't talking about cutting your hair. If you cut your hair off, your hair can grow back. But when you destroy it, they were destroying their stuff. They're destroying their flesh. They're destroying their skin. They're destroying it. They're cutting their hair off whereas though it can't grow back. And they're putting markings in their flesh, whether it be for rituals or for the dead. They do it. They even do it to kids. They call it scarifying. The meaning of that. Also scarification or modification involves scratching, etching, burning, branding, or superficially cutting designs, pictures, or words into the skin as a permanent body modification. This is what we're not to do. It's talking about the cutting of the flesh. That's mar, to destroy. This is what they did. This is a custom they were doing. And some of our people, us Israelites, we were doing that. You know, being over in Egypt for 430 years, we were picking up some of their ways, their customs, their gods, their idols, etc. Mar, to damage or spoil, to a certain extent, render less perfect, attractive, useful. Look at the second one. To disfigure, deface, or scar, bruise, blemish, injure, mutilate, scratch, blemish, deface, deform, ruin, maim. Leviticus 19, verse 27 was mistranslated to read as follows: Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shall thou mar the corners of thy beard. The mistranslation purposely leaving out the fact that Yah is referring to the cutting of the flesh. Yah is not speaking of the cutting of the hair. In this context, in this verse, do not cut the flesh in the places, areas where you grow your beards, and the flesh in the areas rounding the corners of your forehead. That's what's supposed to be said. Note, it's about the cutting of flesh, not the cutting of hair. The enemy of Yah switched it to focus on the cutting of hair and not the focus on the cutting of flesh. Why would they do that? Well, most of these Bibles that we walk around with are authored by who? Authored by heathens. So why would the heathen want that there instead of that? Because nowhere in history were they, the Caucasians, nowhere in history were they carving circles and putting markings all over their face. They weren't doing that. That was something that people of color did, mainly the Hamites and then the Israelites that picked up their customs. But if you put don't cut the hair, now they can fit in. Now they can fit themselves in there. This is what the Most High was warning us not to do. Make scarring on the place where we wear our beards and around the corners, edges of our hairlines, also in making preparation for the cutting of the flesh. See that? Look at this. Look at all of these cuts. All of these cuts. This is what our people were doing. Hair can grow back, but the cutting and tattooing of the flesh is permanent. Leviticus 19:27 through 28 is speaking only of the cutting, marring, sacrification of the flesh. Yah in the next verse tells you exactly what he is referring to in verse 28. The cutting or tattoo marks of and on the flesh. And a little bonus for you, because I know some people will say, well, I read in another verse, in another chapter, it said you can't do this. Okay, most people will probably go to this to try and use that to combat what I just said. Okay, Leviticus 21 verse 5. They shall not make baldness. Well, first off, it says they. So we need to know who the they is, but let me continue. They shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corners of their beard, nor make any cuttings in their flesh. Isaiah 28, verse 9 through 10. I want to go here just for the instructions. We all should understand this and know this, but I'm going to go to it for just in case. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Because that's what we're trying to do. We want to get an understanding. Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept. Now, if you watch one of my prior videos, you understand a precept doesn't mean an additional verse or another account. A precept is a commandment. You check the concordance, it gives you the Hebrew word zav, which means commandment. So going back to that, commandment upon commandment, commandment upon commandment, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. So with that being said, we were at Leviticus 21 verse 5. Let's do line upon line. Verse 4 says, he shall not defile himself, being a chief man among his people, to profane himself. It says he. It didn't say Israel shall not defile themselves. It says he. We need to know who the he is. Then it says being a chief man among his people. He is not supposed to do these things. Who is this chief man that's among this people? Let's go to verse 1. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, speak unto the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say unto them, there shall none defile himself for the dead among his people. This is speaking on the people of Aaron, the priests, the Levites. These are the people. These are the chiefs. This is who he's speaking to in this chapter. I'm not saying the whole book. I'm speaking on this chapter. Right now, you guys should all have an understanding on Leviticus 19, verse 27, as well as Leviticus 21, verse 5. To round is to compass or go into a circular motion, going around, the face or the head. That's to round. And then to mar is to destroy. If you cut your hair off and it grows back, you didn't destroy it. You didn't mar it. To mar would be to destroy. If you're doing as the Hamites did and you're marring yourself, you're destroying yourself, it's destroyed. It's not growing back and you have permanent markings. Cutting your hair and it growing back, that's not destroying it. So with that being said, if you have any questions, feel free. Write as much as you want in the comment board. I'll get to it as soon as possible. All praises to the Most High. Hallelujah.
Yeah. He's not telling these people in the church, forget Moses altogether and forget the Old Testament.
And we don't eat no pork neither. They scoffing at my ways cause I'm a law keeper. The way I kick the script, you probably thought it's FIFA. Lost without a cause, man, you should have seen me. I was fornicating young, unaware of demons. Transparent on the beat, I pray the Father see me. Was molested as a youngin', my life wasn't easy. So I thank the Most High cause he didn't leave me.